Hare Krishna, I can lead Kirtan. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna.
Om Vishnupada Punamansa Paripraj Kacharya Ashtotar Sri Srimad A.C. Bhakti Vedanta Swami Raj Prabhupada Ki Jai Ananta Koti Vaishnavrinda Ki Jai Namacharya Shri Haridas Thakur Ki Jai Prem Se Kaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasari Gaur Bhakti Ki Jai Sri Sri Radha Krishna Gopinath Sham Radha Govardhan Jai Vrindavan Dham Ki Jai Navadip Dham Ki Jai Jagannath Puri Ki Jai Ganga Mai Ki Jai Jamana Mai Ki Jai Tulsi Devi Ki Jai Bhakti Devi Ki Jai Samaveta Bhakti Vrinda Ki Jai. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees.
Welcome everybody to Caitanya Caritamrita reading with His Holiness Jayādvaita Swami. It is Thursday, October 30th, 2025, and we're beginning with Caitanya Caritamrita Adi Leela 17, that's chapter 17, text 110. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Ramraj, would you like to begin?
Okay. Prabhu, Hashi Koila, Tumi, Ichu na Janila, Urve Ami Achila, Jatite Goyala. When the astrologer was speaking so highly of him, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu stopped him and began to smile. My dear sir, he said, I think you do not know very clearly what I was. For I know that in my previous birth, I was a cowherd boy. Om Gana Timirandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshurn Militam Jaina Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah Shri Chaitanya Manobhistam Stapitam Jaina Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kodamahyam Vidhati Shapanantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Jatapada Kamala Shri Gurun Vaishnava Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Bhagavatam Vitam Stam Sajivam Advaitam Savatutam Krishna Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lodita Sri Vishakhan Vitamsha He Krishna Karuna Sindho Dina Bandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostate Sapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Rishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Priya Mancha Golpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhu Pyevacha Dita Nam Bhavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Jayādvaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaur Bhaktavinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare Ram Ram Ram. We just to remind us, this Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu met the astrologer, and the astrologer said that in your previous life you were essentially the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the all-opulent, absolute truth. And now Chaitanya Mahaprabhu charmingly says, no, you don't know what I was. In my previous life, I was just a cowherd boy. Gopa Grihe Janma Chilo, Kabhir Rakalo, She Punye Hoila Ebe, Ramana Chayula Chau Yala. In my last birth, I was born in the family of cowherd men, and I gave protection to the calves and cows. Because of such pious activities, I have now become the son of a Brahmin. Let's just remove a layer here. Okay. Purport. The words of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, the greatest authority, herein clearly indicate that one becomes pious simply by keeping cows and protecting them. Unfortunately, people have become such rascals that they do not even care about the words of an authority. People generally consider cowherd men lowly members of society. But herein Chaitanya Mahaprabhu confirms that they are so pious that in their next lives they're going to be Brahmins. Caste system has a specific purpose. If this scientific system is followed, human society will get the greatest benefit. Heeding this instruction by the Lord, people should serve cows and calves, and in return get ample quantities of milk. There's no loss in serving the cows and calves, but modern human society has become so degraded that instead of giving protection to the cows and serving them, people are killing them. How can they expect peace and prosperity in human society while committing such sinful activities? It is impossible. So, yeah, I don't have a comment here unless somebody has something to add.
I was thinking something else. Somewhere in that construction. That if you have cows and grains, all your economic needs.
Yeah, if you have cows and grains, all your economic needs are fulfilled. You'll get all the required food. They don't. Well, real prosperity is food grains and milk, not machine tools and gadgets and all of that. The real basis of wealth is cows and grains.
I was thinking too, since time in Kali Yuga is very short, people get what, 70, 80 years.
Mm.
And even the last years are pretty uselessly spent. So with the society we have now, people have to spend most of their time commuting in stressful environments. So them killing cows and essentially going against the rule of authority means the short time they have is running here and there, trying to earn a living.
Yeah, it's a miserable life. All hyped up to be something exciting and whatever it is, but it's miserable. Miserable civilization, passion and ignorance. What happiness will they get? Rather, they'll get all sinful reactions from what they're doing. Okay.
We have something in the chat from Praveen Prabhu. Is it a pious activity doing agriculture? And what about rulership?
Yeah, the pious rulers also. Well, first, yes, it's a pious activity, agriculture. Honest work compared to the work that goes on in materialistic world. To be an honest farmer is very pious, and especially if one's taking care of cows, that's a very pious activity. And the ruler, yes, a ruler also, what can we say? It's in a position of piety if he makes his citizens Krishna conscious. He watches them. Anything else?
Nope, nothing else in the chat.
Sarvagya koheyami taha dihane dekila tahate aishwarya deki anfar aila. The astrologer said, what I saw in meditation was full of opulence, and therefore I was confused. Purport, it appears that the astrologer not only was a knower of past, present, and future through astrological calculation, but was a great meditator as well. Therefore, he was a great devotee and could see Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to be the same personality as Krishna. He was puzzled, however, about whether Krishna and Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu were actually the same person. So the astrologer says, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, no, you've got it wrong. And you're thinking that in my last life I was the level of Narayan. No, I was just a cowherd boy. But because I was a cowherd boy, now I've become a Brahmin as a result of that pious life. So the astrologer says, well, yeah, I saw that also. Although when you asked me who you were, in your previous life, I said, you were the reservoir of all opulences. But I also saw in my meditation that you were a cowherd boy. So it was confusing. It was confusing. So it's a charming pastime to see how the astrologer was confused by seeing simultaneously that Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and seeing that, no, it's just a coward. She rupe, e rupe, deki ekakar, karupe deki mayai tomar. I'm certain that your form and the form I saw in my meditation are one and the same. If I see any difference, this is an act of your illusory energies. Purport, Sri Krishna Chaitanya Radha Krishna Nohe Anyo. In the vision of a perfect devotee, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is a combination of Radha and Krishna. One who sees Lord Chaitanya to be different from Krishna is under the illusory energy of the Lord. It appears the astrologer was already an advanced devotee, and when he came into the presence of the Supreme Lord, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he became perfectly self-realized and could see that the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna, and Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu are one and the same Supreme Person. Should we open the door and get some fresh air? Ye hao she hao tumi tomake namaskar. Prabhutare prema diya koilo puraskar. The all-knowing astrologer concluded, whatever you may be or whoever you may be, I offer you I offer my respectful obeisances unto you. By his causeless mercy, the Lord then gave him love of Godhead, thus rewarding him for his service. Purport: the incident of Lord Chaitanya's meeting the all-knowing astrologer is not mentioned in the Chaitanya Bhagavat, but we cannot therefore say that it did not take place. On the contrary, we must accept the statement of Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami that whatever the Chaitanya Bhagavat did not mention, he has especially mentioned in the Chaitanya Charitamrita. And there's something in the comment department.
Yes. Saraswati Mataji writes, Namaskar Puja, Gurudev, and all the Vaishnavas. It said the Rajvasis are not attracted to Aishvarya, but they are living in opulence from the descriptions of the Goloka Dham. So how to understand this Aishvarya as being different to that of Dwarka/Vaikuntha Aishvarya?
The Goloka is the place of mud, cows, all of that kind of stuff. It's a cowherd village. It's not city. It's not, not a great metropolis. The acharyas describe the everything. Well, even the Brahma Samhita, Chintamani Prakara Shadamatu, Maitorium Amritam, the water is nectar, the ground is made of touchstones. So it's opulent. It's full of every opulence, but it's not exactly the opulence that you'll find in Dwarka or Mathura. Superior opulence, actually, but it seems to be a cowherd village. Seems to be a cowherd village. So in their minds, in fact, there's a verse in Srimad Bhagavatam in the chapter about wonderful Krishna, where the cowherd men are speculating, who is this Krishna who does such wonderful things? And then they think, well, maybe he might be Narayan or maybe one of the demigods. But then they think, well, why would they live in a cowherd village? A miserable, a mere miserable village. Why would they live here? Why would a demigod or the personality of Godhead live with us, cowherd men, in a cowherd village? So that's their perception. Like we're living in a cowherd village. But those who have love for Krishna may see, may understand that Goloka Vrindavan is more valuable than all the other places, more opulent than all other places. But its opulence is manifested differently. Hope that helps.
Okay, that's all from the chat. Oh, yeah, something else. I heard their homes are like palaces with emerald walls, roof made of gold.
You know, the commentators say that. It's still, well, I don't want to speculate too much on matters that are above my understanding. But it's also said, you know, the cowherd village, Krishna was pulling on the, you know, grabbing onto the hold of, grabbing hold of the cow's tail and being dragged through the mud. So, but it has, the mud is worth unlimited dollars or rupees. It's fully conscious. Consciousness is worth more than any amount of physical stuff. When the acharyas describe that there are palaces and so on, my tendency is to think that these descriptions are to bring us up from mundane vision and help us see the value of Goloka Vrindavan. But I don't want to comment more, because I don't want to cover things with speculation. Oh, that's all right.
Saraswati Mataji writes, thank you. Ramaj, would you like to continue or should we pass it off to someone else?
Ekodino Prabhu Vishnu, Mondope Roshia, Madhuana Bolin Rakia. One day the Lord sat down in the corridor of the Vishnu temple and began calling very loudly, "Bring some honey, bring some honey." Nityananda Gosai Prabhu Avesha Janilo Ganga Jol Patra Ani Sonmukhe Torilo. Nityananda Prabhu Gosai, understanding the ecstatic mood of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, brought a pot of Ganga water, Ganges water, as a token and put it before him. Jolopana Goriya Nache Ha Pibal Yamuna Karshan Lila Dekaye Shokol. After drinking the water, Lord Chaitanya became so ecstatic that he began to dance. Thus, everyone saw the pastime of attracting the river Jumuna. Purport. Jamuna Karshana Lila is the pastime of attracting the Jumuna. One day, Sri Baldev wanted the Jamuna river to come before him And when the river Jamuna refused, he took his plow, wanting to dig a canal so that the Jamuna would be obliged to come there. Since Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is the original form of Baladev, in his ecstatic ecstasy, he asked everyone to bring honey. In this way, all the devotees standing there saw the Jamuna Karshana Leela. In this Leela, Baladev was accompanied by his girlfriends. After drinking a honey beverage called Baruni, he wanted to jump into the Jamuna and swim with the girls. It is stated in Srimad Bhagavatam that Lord Baldev asked the Jamuna to come near, and when the river disobeyed the order of the Lord, he became angry and thus wanted to snatch her near to him with the plow. Jamuna, however, very much afraid of Lord Baladev, the Jamuna, however, very much afraid of Lord Balaram's anger, immediately came and surrendered unto him, praying to the Lord, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, to come near. Sorry. Okay. Jamuna, afraid of Lord Balaram's anger, immediately came and surrendered unto him, praying to the Lord, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and admitting her fault. She was then excused. This is the system and substance of the Jamuna Karshana Leela. The incident is also described in the Leela. The incident is also described in the prayer of Jayādvaita Goswami concerning the 10 incarnations. Boshi Bushi Bishade Vasanam Chaladabta Halahati Piti Milita Jamunabham Keshvadrita Alankara Haladarupa Jaya Jagadish. I have no comment here.
Mukunda Charana Prabhu, would you like to say something?
Hare Krishna. My question is, within this purport, there seem to be two ways of describing this pastime with Balaram and Yamuna. When I typically hear or see this pastime described, and even I think in some paintings of it, it's described that Balaram wants the Yamuna to come to where he is, and he threatens, and he's going to drag the Yamuna by taking his plow, and it's depicted as taking his plow and putting it on one side of the Yamuna and dragging it the way you would maybe drag like a snake toward you. Whereas here in this purport, Srila Prabhupada does seem to, maybe the second way he describes it looks like that, but the first way he describes it seems to be a more conceivable version where he's going to dig a canal, which would lead the Yamuna to run to where he is. Is the first version, can I just understand it as that second one, which is very conceivable to me? Or should I accept that there's some version also valid where he's in some inconceivable way going to drag the Yamuna like you drag a snake toward you by putting the plow on the other side of the Yamuna and tugging?
Yeah, it's said that he's pulling the Jamuna toward him, or that was his intention to, and therefore it created a disturbance in the city. It's when Lord Balaram was dragging the city, you can imagine. But the metaphorical issue has its backers, and it has some value for us also. But it doesn't mean that the literal truth is less than literal.
Okay.
Hare Krishna. Sir,
Why did the Yamuna disobey Balaram?
she considered him intoxicated. He'd been drinking barley, and the river, and he said, Jamuna, you come over here. And the river refused, but the river refused, considering him intoxicated. And then Lord Balaram responded. There's a verse in Nectar of Devotion describing Lord Baladev's intoxication. And there's another one, I forget exactly where, quoted by Parshad Prabhu, in that shelf. So there's one thing. Yeah, she considers it. Okay, someone else can read.
We have things in the chat.
Oh, okay.
Praveen Prabhu writes, in the Chaitanya Bhagavat, it is mentioned that the Lord sometimes call, bring me wine, and a pot of Ganga would be brought to him, also in the mood of Haladara.
Yes, thank you.
Something else in the chat. Saraswati Mataji writes, I find this particularly pastime hard to hear because I worship her, knowing Yamuna Mata cannot err. Of course, it's a pastime. I relish knowing when Krishna plays the second note on his flute, she flows backwards.
Yes. Yes, not just impersonal that the or formal that the Jamuna is the greatest river, but she so great that she gets to enjoy these intimate pastimes with Lord Balaram and Lord Krishna. Hare Krishna. By the way, Nectar of Devotion has a verse describing the intoxicated state of Lord Balaram. And there's another verse by, I forget where it's from, maybe it's in Padyavali, cited by Hari Parshad, which further shows the mood there. The verse says something like, how is it that you can, that the whole world is spinning? That Lord Balaram is speaking in this stuttering way. Hare Krishna.
Our next text, Kundacharan Prabhu, are you available to read? Now, we just read 117, so 118 is next.
Okay. Madamatagati Baladeva Anukara Acharya Shekhar Tanre Deke Ramakara. When the Lord in his ecstasy of Baladeva was moving as if intoxicated by the beverage, Advaita Acharya, the chief of the Acharyas, Acharya Shekhar, saw him in the form of Balarama. Vanamali Acharya Deke Sonara Langala Sabe Mili Nitya Kare Aveshe Vivala. Vanamali Acharya saw a golden plow in the hand of Balarama, and the devotees all assembled together and danced, overwhelmed by ecstasy. Hey Matanitya Haila Chari Prahara Sandhyaya Ganga Snana Kari Sabe Gela Gara. In this way they danced continuously for 12 hours, and in the evening they all took a bath in the Ganges, and then returned to their homes. Nagariya loke prabhu yabe Angya dila gare gare sankirtana karite la gila. The Lord ordered all the citizens of Navadvip to chant the Hare Krishna mantra, and in each and every home they began performing Sankirtana regularly. Haraye Nama Krishna Yadavaya Nama Gopal Govinda Rama Shri Madhusudana. I didn't realize that was the mantra at first. Okay. All the devotees sang this popular song along with the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Haraye Nama Krishna Yadavaya Namaha Gopal Govinda Ram Shri Madhusudana. Mridanga Kadatala Sankirtana Mahadvani Hari Hari Dvani Vina Anya Nahi Shuni. When the Sankirtana movement thus started, no one in Navadvip could hear any sound other than the words Hari Hari and the beating of the mridanga and clashing of handbells. Purport. The International Society for Krishna Consciousness now has its world center in Navadvip, Mayapur. The managers of the center should see that 24 hours a day there is chanting of the holy names of the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, with the addition of Haraye Nama Krishna Yadavaya Namaha. For this song was a favorite of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's. But all such Sankirtana must be preceded by the chanting of the holy names of the five tattvas, Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda, Sri Advaita Gadadhara Sri Vas Adi Gaura Bhaktivinoda. We are already accustomed to chant these two mantras, Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda, Sri Advaita Gadadhara Sri Vas Adi Gaura Bhaktivinoda, and Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Now, after these, the other two lines, namely, Hare Nama Krishna Yadavaya Namaha, Gopala Govinda Rama Shri Madhusudana, should be added, especially in Mayapur. Chanting of these 6 lines should go on so perfectly well that no one there hears any vibration other than the chanting of the holy names of the Lord. That will make the center spiritually all perfect.
Do you have any comments, Prabhu? Yeah, please.
Om Jnana-timirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshur Unmilitamena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. I don't have much to comment, just that this purport comes up when Maharaj gives his Kirtana Standard seminar and in his book also. Srila Prabhupada gave many instructions about Kirtana at ISKCON temples, and part of those instructions were not to add anything, not to add different kirtans to the morning program, for instance. But this is one thing where Srila Prabhupada does say to add. Madhusudan Prabhu, one of Srila Prabhupada's early disciples, he recounts how for a while they just chanted the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, and then at one point they started chanting one other kirtana. And actually, I'm forgetting the story, and Maharaj can remind me, or someone else here, others I'm sure know this story, that there was some other, was it Krishnaya Vasudevaya? No, another kirtan, another mantra, and they were singing that. And actually, it came up in one of Srila Prabhupada's purports. There's a kind of story to it. Srila Prabhupada heard them chanting that, and Madhusudan Prabhu recounts that they were chanting it enthusiastically. It was nice. They had the Maha Mantra. Now they have another mantra of the holy name. And when Srila Prabhupada heard that they were chanting this, he asked them to not chant this. It wasn't a bona fide mantra for us to chant. It wasn't coming from our sampradaya. However, Srila Prabhupada said that if you'd like to chant another mantra, chant this Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivas Adi Gaur Bhaktivinoda. So then you have those two, and here Srila Prabhupada adds this Hare Nama Krishna Yadavaya Namaha, Gopal Govindaram, Shri Madhusudana. I think Maharaj is ready to comment on this. It looks like his microphone's on. No, mistaken. Oh, microphone's off.
No, I
Maharaj.
don't think that. Good.
Some things in the chat. Praveen Prabhu writes, the Haraya mantra is different from the song given by Srila Narottama Das Thakur.
Yes, and then also Chalatala Mataji added this. She reminded
Yeah.
the Sri Krishna Govinda Hare Murari He Nata Narayana Vasudeva. That's right. That was the one that they were chanting. That Srila Prabhupada asked them not to chant. Yes. No other thoughts from me.
Okay.
I can go on reading unless you'd like to pass it.
Yeah. Yeah, you can go on, Prabhu. Thank you.
Okay. Text 124. Shunayaye kridha haila sakala yavana kaji pashe asi shabe kaila nivedana. Hearing the resounding vibration of the Hare Krishna mantra, the local Muslims, greatly angry, submitted a complaint to the Qazi. Purport. The Pojadara, or city magistrate, was called the Qazi. The zamindars, or landholders, mandaleras, levied taxes on the land. But keeping law and order and punishing criminals was the duty entrusted to the Qazi. Both the Qazi and the landholders were under the control of the governor of Bengal, which at that time was known as Shubha Bangala. The districts of Nadia, Islampura, and Bagoyana were all under the zamindar named Harihoda, or his descendant known as Hoda Krishnadasa. It is said that Chand Kazi was the spiritual master of Nawab Hussain Shah. According to one opinion, his name was Maulana Sirajuddin, and according to another, his name was Habibar Brahmana. Descendants of Chand Kazi are still living in the city of Mayapur. People still go to see the tomb of Chand Kazi, which is underneath a champak tree and is known as Chand Kazi's Samadhi.
Prabhu, would you like to comment?
I have no comments on this. Yes, it's a popular pilgrimage place. Naveen went there. Yes, I don't have more to comment on that. Would anyone else like to comment on this? Otherwise, Naveen could continue with the reading.
We have something in chat. Guru Maharaj, did you want to say anything on this?
No?
Okay, we have something. Saraswati Mataji, in reply to Chalatala Mataji's comment, says, "Don't the Mayavadis sing this too?" I'm referring to the Sri Krishna Govinda Hare Murari He Nata Narayan Vasudeva chant.
Yes, if I remember correctly, that was Srila Prabhupada's statement about it too, when Madhusudan Prabhu and others were chanting. Yes.
Okay, Praveen Prabhu writes, our parikramas go to the Samadhi managed by the Muslims.
I don't follow that. You're saying the Chand Kazi Samadhi is managed by the Muslims?
Yes,
Oh, I
Praveen
didn't know
Prabhu
that.
replies.
Wow, I didn't know that.
And their descendants, Praveen Prabhu writes. Okay, and then Chalatala Mataji writes, I think I read in the Kirtan Standards book, or somewhere else, that Hari shouldn't be added before Hare Nama Krishna. But where did the Hari come from?
Well, Praveen Krishna Prabhu, I think, mentioned something about that. That there's a separate bhajan. There's a separate bhajan where it has that line, but it includes Hari also. So this line mentioned that Srila Prabhupada is prescribing us to chant And the purport is different from that bhajan by Narottam Das Thakur. So there's a separate bhajan where that comes, and that's where the other lines also come in.
Jalatala Machi writes, so it comes from the bhajan. Thank you.
So of course, if you're just chanting the bhajan, that would be another thing. But at least here for just adding it to kirtan along with the Panchatattva Mahamantra and the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, then here just those two lines are encouraged. Naveen, would you like to read? Text 125. Krodhe Sandhya Kale Kaji Eka Gare Aila Pradanga Bangiya Loke Kahite Lagila. Chandkazi angrily came to one home in the evening, and when he saw kirtan going on, he broke a mridanga and spoke as follows. Ita kala keha nahi koila hinduyani ebe ye udyama kalau kara bala jani. For so long you did not follow the regulative principles of the Hindu religion, but now you are following them with great enthusiasm. May I know by whose strength you are doing so? Purport. It appears that from the aggression of Bakhtiyar Khilji in Bengal until the time of Chandkazi, Hindus, or the followers of the Vedic principles, were greatly suppressed. Like the Hindus in present-day Pakistan, practically no one could execute the Hindu religious principles freely. Chandkazi referred to this condition of Hindu society. Formerly, the Hindus had not been straightforward in executing their Hindu principles, but now they were freely chanting the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. Therefore, it must have been by the strength of someone else that they were so daring. Actually, that was the fact. Although the members of the so-called Hindu society had followed the social customs and formulas, they had practically forgotten to execute their religious principles strictly. But with the presence of Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu, they actually began following the regulative principles according to his order. That order is still existing, and anywhere and everywhere, in all parts of the world, one can execute it. That order is to become a spiritual master under the direction of Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu by following the regulative principles, chanting daily at least 16 rounds of the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, and preaching the cult of Krishna consciousness all over the world. If we adhere to the order of Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu, we shall get spiritual strength without a doubt, and we shall be free to preach this cult of the Hare Krishna movement and not be hampered by anyone.
Prabhu, would you like to comment?
I don't have any comment at this time. Yeah.
Maharaj or anybody else?
Nothing to add from my side.
Shamsindhu Prabhu, would you like to take the next text?
No, you should.
Hare Krishna. Am I loud enough?
Yes. Thank
Okay.
you, Prabhu.
Text 127. Eha kirtana natari hasakala nagare aji ami kama kari yaite chongare. No one should perform Sankirtan on the streets of the city. Today I am excusing the offense and returning home. Such orders stopping Sankirtan in the streets of the world's great cities have been imposed upon members of the Hare Krishna movement. We have hundreds of centers all over the world, and we have been specifically persecuted in Australia. In most cities of the Western world, we have been arrested many times by the police. but we are nevertheless executing the order of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu by chanting on the streets of all the important cities such as New York, London, Chicago, Sydney, Melbourne, Paris, and Hamburg. We must remember that such incidents took place in the past 500 years ago, and the fact that they are still going on indicates that our Sankirtan movement is really authorized. If Sankirtan were an insignificant material affair, demons would not object to it. The demons of the time tried to obstruct the Sankirtan movement started by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Similar demons are trying to obstruct the Sankirtan movement we are executing all over the world. And this proves that our Sankirtan movement is still pure and genuine, following in the footsteps of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. I don't know if it's true, but I heard a funny story that there were devotees getting arrested. Maharaj, you could probably confirm. They were getting arrested and they complained to Prabhupada. And Prabhupada were getting arrested. And from what I heard, Prabhupada said, you could just go on, they'll get tired of arresting. And that was how it actually happened. They kept going and eventually the police got tired of arresting the devotees. But it's interesting. They're going to arrest a nonviolent movement for singing on the street. But then there's serious things going on with many other facets of society that are left alone until they become real problems. I always found that, I guess, interesting, but then Prabhupada straight up calls them demons. So I suppose they're more motivated to stop the Sankirtan movement because it's theistic and less inclined to go after, I suppose, more insidious elements of society. That's my only thoughts.
Thank you.
We have something in the chat. Praveen Prabhu writes, but it seems that Sankirtan in very radical places is only possible by Mahaprabhu.
Yes. Yes.
Okay. We're reaching the top of the hour. We take a last question from Kundacharan Prabhu before Kirtan.
Well, mine isn't a question, it's kind of a frivolous
comment.
But which I was reminded by what Shamsundar Prabhu mentioned, that we were having Harinam in Balboa Park in San Diego. It's a very well-known kind of tourist place, a lot of people around. And we're having Harinam there, and many of the people there were not very they weren't reciprocating. They were a little antagonistic even, and kind of some acting like we didn't exist, and some just maybe annoyed that we were there. It's not always like that, but this particular day it was. And so we're there having Harinam, not a lot of reciprocation. And then this group, there's like some sort of women's club, I think. So then this group from the women's club came out to Balboa Park, and they walked down the same corridor we were walking down, and they were dressed like seductive witches because it's Halloween time. So they were all wearing some sort of skimpy. These women are maybe in their 60s, like retired women, 60s, maybe 70. And so they had all of these older women come out wearing their skimpy witch outfits, and they all had broomsticks, and they got in a circle and they did a little like a seductive dance, and everybody was into it. Everyone gathered around and cheered them and said, you go, ladies." Um, and we were taken aback. The same people who were so antagonistic to our chanting. We were being friendly, but they were antagonistic to us. They were so pleased and so encouraging for this group of it's maybe 60 to 70, 75-year-old women doing this little dance. Anyway, just a comment. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Okay, I see we have something in the chat, but we can take it maybe another time since it's getting close to 8 p.m. Kundacharan Prabhu, are you available for Kirtan?
Yeah, sure. Uh, um, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jai Vishnupad Paramahamsa Parivrajakacarya Ashto Tadashata Sri Srimad A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada Ki Jai.
Anand Koti Vaishnav ki Jai, Dharmacharya Srila Haridas Thakur ki Jai, Prem Se Kaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda, Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Varsadi Gaur Bhaktivinoda ki Jai, Sri Sri Radha Krishna Gopinath Sham Kund Radha Kund Govardhan ki Jai, Vrindavan Dham ki Jai, Navadvip Dham ki Jai, Jagannath Puri ki Jai, Ganga Mai ki Jai, Jamuna Mai ki Jai, Tulsi Devi ki Jai, Bhakti Devi ki Jai. Samaveta Bhakti Vrinda ki Jai. All glories to you, some devotees. All glories to you, some devotees. All glories to you, some devotees. Gaur Premanande.
Holiness Jayādvaita Swami ki Jai.
Hare Krishna. Thank you all very much. A little out of sync with the time. I think there was more with it when I was getting up at 12 o'clock. But anyway, thank you for being. Thank you for everything. Hare Krishna. Gaur Premanande.
Thank you, Guru Maharaj.
Jaya. Hare Krishna.